Hey guys, welcome back. So we've got the grinder in this week. I got my motor, my VFD for it. So what I'm gonna do is today is the day I've made my trip to Tractor Supply, got my bolts and nuts by the pound. That didn't sound quite right, but okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna mount this guy up, mount the motor up to it, work on getting it wired up, and hopefully my goal is by the end of the afternoon is I'll be able to run this thing and see what it looks like. So as I go, I figured I'd stop, every once in a while, maybe talk about a few things that I'm running into when I'm setting this thing up, might help somebody else. Other than that, the biggest thing is going to be getting power from the lathe over here, which I've got on the wall. I've got a piece of Unistrut I'm going to put across this garage door frame here. Should work pretty good for getting it over. I'm going to use this J-Box with a relay inside of it, and I think I'm just going to put a single pole switch on it. Since I'm sending 230 volt single phase to the VFD, I'm going to use a transformer to switch a 24 volt contactor in here to make the two poles for the 230 volt to feed the VFD for it. Once the VFD is ready to go, then I can use the start and stop on it to power the motor and control the speed. That was the best way I've seen, or that I can think of, to handle it in my shop anyway. So here we go. Okay, so I've got it mounted up. I mounted the motor first, and it's I think it's, what do they call it? It's a 5C frame. I think that's what it is. Let me look. .56C. Okay, so the frame's a 56C, bolts right up to this grinder. Uses 4 3/8 bolts. If you're curious what size they are, or you got one that looks like it. And then what I did is I took some bolts. I took 5 bolts and I mounted the grinder to the table along with the 4 bolts to mount the motor. And pretty much it's not going to move unless the whole thing comes apart. I got a real problem. So I think I'm in good shape. What I'm going to do now is, I think I'm going to get into that box. Going to have to kill the breaker for it. I won't use the lathe and this at the same time, which is technically called a non-coincidental load, I think is it. I'm not a professional electrician, but I have been around them quite a bit. So I'm going to hang this piece of Unistrut here so I can put a light over it. and also going to use it to run my cable on it so I can get power to everything right here and mount the box and all that. So here we go again. Ready? Okay, so I had to rework all the lights over the lathe in order to put this guy on. I want them all to come on with one switch, but I've got some old 2-light 4-foot fluorescent strips that I've rewired, and I ordered some LED tubes for them off of Amazon. I'll put the link in the description down below. Probably won't even be an affiliate link. If they help you, that's what it's there for. Anyway, so I got that guy rewired, had to relocate the one over the lathe, and then I got this one put up. I think it'll provide some light. I'm probably going to have another light, maybe. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, so I haven't run the power for the motor yet, but that's next. So hang on, we're almost there. Maybe. It's going to get dark soon, so I might have to continue tomorrow, but we'll see. I'm going to start it. All right, so I thought I'd take a second to show you this LED. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to do the super in-depth anything on it, but basically the brand is Hypericon. I'm not sure if you can see that. So it's a 4-foot unit. It all comes in one piece. It'll go into the fluorescent sockets, and it's powered from this end. So it's only got power on one end. It says input here. Anyway, the other end is just a dummy. It's just a placeholder to keep it in the fixture. These are 4000K. I did not want to get two things. I wanted a clear cover on it. You can see that. I didn't want to have to mess with dust and dirt in the LED strip that's in here. The other thing is I went with a 4000K light. That's closer to a warm white. They make a 5000K. That's getting pretty close to a cold white. I wanted a more natural light in here for me. These are like $8 a piece on Amazon. I buy them in packs of 4. I gotta get it now that I've added a couple light fixtures. I gotta order one more package. But anyway, I put these in a few years ago, and they made a huge difference in here. I'm sure everybody's upgraded from fluorescent to LED, and if you haven't, you should just take the time. Trust me, take your light fixtures apart, rewire them. It's worth every minute you spend. especially in the winter if you're in the garage or your shop and it gets a little cool. I've got a gas heater back here in the corner that helps keep it fairly warm in here during the winter when it's cold, and it doesn't get real cold in my region. But if you've got fluorescents and it's wintertime, that's irritating because they're not doing you any good. Anyway, all right, so I just thought I'd take a second and just show you the brand. Here it is again. And mine are 4000K. I'll put the link in the description below. Maybe it'll help somebody. All right, back to it. Got to wire the motor before dark again. Okay, so that's about it for today. I redid the lights over the lathe, installed the new light fixture here, got all the power cables run, which is kind of nice. Now all the lights come on with the same switch. What I did today is I mounted a control box. This is going to control the whole thing. It's got a contactor in here, switch it on. It's going to power the VFD, turn the VFD on, control the speed to the motor and whatnot. I'll run power out of the attic. I got tomorrow. I've got a panel in the attic. I'm going to run it down and run it into the back of this box. It's all right here. This motor only pulls 4 amps when it's running, so I've got some old extension cord that I use, which makes it kind of nice. So that's what I'm going to do. So other than that, that's about it for today. I'll be back.